Ford is planning to cut out $3 billion of wasteful expenses in order to funnel that money into its electric vehicle development. Now, I've been pointing out for a while now that Ford doesn't really have the cash to do what they plan on doing. They don't. They plan on generating cash in other areas in order to fund their EV development. And this is how they're going to do it. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you here from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome to all your new subscribers. Welcome back to everyone else. Thank you for supporting the channel. Great to have you here. Great to have all these new people coming onto the channel and watching the videos. Ford is planning to cut $3 billion in waste. Now, I don't know how a company can be wasting $3 billion a year. That's a lot of waste. Anyway, let's have a look. The Detroit Free Press says that Ford Motor Company sent its employees an email on Wednesday inviting them to attend what many expected to be a routine town hall a few hours later at 10 a.m. There was no mention of the agenda or preview of a major announcement. So the employees turned up to the meeting and basically had no idea what it was going to be about. It would prove to be what analysts and industry watchers consider one of the most pivotal days in the history of the 118-year-old automaker. Ford CEO Jim Farley captured the attention of Wall Street and saw the stock price climb. After announcing at 7 a.m. plans to split Ford, Farley set out to reveal the news to employees. "I'm not satisfied with simply being a good company," he said. "I know Bill isn't, and I don't think any of you are either," Farley said during the meeting. He said, "We must aim higher." During the question and answer period, an employee asked about the risk and worry associated with separating the established vehicle division from the electric and technology division. I think, honestly, these employees are probably sitting there going, yeah, we're all going to be fired. Well, the ones of them that are going to be in the internal combustion engine division anyway. I mean, what are they going to do in the future? Unless they're retrained. So, of course, you've got to be willing to be retrained, have some flexibility, have that kind of mindset. I think that a lot of them are probably sitting there thinking, are we going to be gotten rid of soon? When's that going to happen? Bill Ford, the Free Press was told, and he replied that he thought the bigger risk would be not to make a bold change when the world is changing so fast. In other words, guys, we have to change as a company, otherwise it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to lose your job anyway. So we change, you improve your skills, we improve our skills, the company can still exist in 2030. Under Farley's Reorganization Plan, Ford Model E would focus on developing, Ford Model E, by the way, is the electric division, would focus on developing the electric vehicle operations and software technology, while Ford Blue would run the gas-powered operation. The best-selling F-Series trucks, police interceptors, Bronco Maverick, and the iconic Mustang. In other words, the ICE internal combustion engine division is going to make profits in the short term to fund the electric car division, which hopefully will make profits in the long term. We'll see if this works. Ford told employees that efficiency and focus must improve for everyone and everything if Ford wants to succeed. And he's sounding a lot like another CEO in Germany, Herbert Diess, Volkswagen CEO. During employee meetings and public remarks, he often praises Tesla as a benchmark of excellence for electric vehicles. So if you're one of the naysayers and the haters of Tesla, well, Herbert Diess and Jim Farley clearly do not agree with you. On this day, Farley also mentions Stellantis as a model for gas-operated vehicles, the company that builds Jeeps and Ram trucks, a direct competitor for the Ford Bronco. Stellantis announced a $15 billion net profit for 2021, which resulted in the highest profit-sharing checks for its union members in 35 years at $15,000 each. So in other words, every employee at Stellantis took home $15,000 US. But I should point out, 4 executives last year took home $60 million. $60 million between 4 of them. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description to that video. It's ridiculous. Anyway, by contrast, Ford paid $7,400 checks to its employees and General Motors paid $10,000 to its employees. So that's a profit sharing system where if you're part of the union, and obviously all those employees are at those companies, then you get to share in the profits for the company. Personally, I think if you're one of those employees, it's good in the short term, maybe not so good in the long term. I think it's better to reinvest profits right now at this period where we're in this insane disruption. We're about to move from gas vehicles to all electric vehicles. They're better off using that money to fund this movement into this transition in order to not go bankrupt. That's just me. I mean, obviously, employees of these companies are probably not going to agree with that. Farley then dropped the bombshell. Ford plans to slash $3 billion over the next 2 or 3 years from its gas-powered operations and funnel it into battery electric vehicle development and technology. Their plan is to get rid of all toilet paper and have people use newspapers. I don't know what their plan is, but they're planning to cut costs massively. And obviously, I was just making a joke in reference to when Tesla was talking about reducing toilet paper usage and trying to cut costs. And obviously, Elon Musk was kind of mocked a bit for this. This is maybe a year or two ago. Mocked for this, but then, of course, what happened is Tesla delivered some record profits after that. Now, the tech side of the business is getting a big cash infusion. The internal combustion engine side will make it happen. Ford employees immediately started to post about the meeting on public chat boards over the next 24 hours and speculate what it actually means to them. Are layoffs or buyouts pending? Anything is possible, executives said. Last month, Farley said, we have too many people. What does this mean? Well, it's pretty clear what it means. They're going to fire a lot of people. How on earth can they cut $3 billion? And the fact that they said they're going to cut $3 billion a matter of weeks after they said we have too many people here, yeah, it's happening. The writing is on the wall. Sorry, Ford employees, but lots of you will go. Hopefully, lots of you are retrained, though, in order to take up these new positions in Ford's kind of new electric vehicle division. In the hours before the town hall, executives spelled out the details for the news media and Wall Street during webcasts and calls with the media, investors, and industry analysts. Little detail was provided about personnel changes. In terms of cost, we don't have anything to announce today, said Kumar Galhotra, a mechanical engineer at Ford since 1988, now running Ford Blue. So Ford Blue and Ford Model E, they're the two kind of code names for Ford's electric vehicle division. Everything is on the table. It has to be. If we're going to take out $3 billion over the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to work with all our partners to do this in a very integrated way, he told reporters. Now, obviously, if there wasn't going to be job cuts, he would have said so. Clearly there is. As the industry evolves, there is natural reduction in some jobs and an increase in others, he said. Yeah, okay. There you go, he spelled it out. Farley added, there's a principle at Ford that runs through the place when it comes to change for our employees or our union partners. We will be transparent, we will be thorough, we will be inclusive, and there won't be any surprises. That's how we approach these changes at Ford. Well, I think if you're saying there won't be any surprises, then now's the time to say, we're going to fire a lot of you. Yeah, that's what I would suggest. To be transparent, tell them now. The change is not about just cost savings, Farley said. This is about reinvestment to position Ford to compete for dominance in the future. If the company doesn't change how things work, it cannot attract the talent needed to build on its strengths and make the transition to all electric. We had to change. Now he was going deeper to explain his plan, which would not spin off the electric vehicle operation into a standalone subsidiary, but instead keep the operation under one roof as interdependent operations that harness engineering and industrial expertise while sharing technology, as well as saving costs by buying supplies such as glass, seats, and sheet metal in bulk for electric and non-electric vehicles. So they're saying, in other words, they're paying too much into their electric cars now because they're not buying enough of those parts. They're not selling enough electric vehicles to get discounts on bulk purchasing. The reality is our legacy organization has been holding us back. We had to change, Farley told reporters on Wednesday. Model E will nurture the talent and the culture and intensity of a high-tech startup. It will be a center of innovation, free of convention, free of hierarchy that's so typical of corporate constraints, he said. Disruption, risk-taking, experimentation, fast cycle innovation will be encouraged. It will be expected. Now, recently, Jim Farley pointed out, he says, that the company does two things better than electric vehicle startups. So he's basically saying we want to be an electric vehicle startup, we want to embrace the way they operate, but we do two things better than them. I'll put a link in the description below to those two things that he said that they do better than Tesla, Rivian, NIO, Xpeng, the others. Consumer behavior has helped shape the new Ford strategy. There is no way gas-powered trucks are going away in the near term, Farley said. The F-Series franchise was second in sales only to the iPhone in 2019. Cost reductions on one side just make the company stronger as it dives into lucrative electric vehicle war. But preventing intra-company battles is a top priority, he said. We're not creating internal competition. I think they should, Farley said. If anything, you can see today there's been a commitment we have to each other on leveraging the expertise of the other businesses. We've been very intentional to do that. Today, the corporate structure is holding us back. It does not allow us to focus. We need the ICE business to be cash generating and serving the iconic brands. And we need our electric business to be about innovation. We cannot ask the team to do both at the same time. He said, "We are not going to compete with each other. In fact, that's why I'm leading the electric business as CEO. I cannot allow any of that to happen at Ford. Long-time employees are valued," executives said. "But new recruits are crucial to success, and that means a continued culture change." A little bit mixed messages going on here, considering he's saying we have too many employees, we need to trim that down, we need to save costs. And then he's saying we've got to hire new people. So clearly that means quite a few people have to go. Farley pointed out to the small team success that led to development of the award-winning Mustang Mach-E and the all-electric F1 pickup, the Lightning, the surprise Maverick compact pickup truck, which was released in 2021 and has seen production pause to meet demand, was created secretly in a single room with a team that surprised the world with its rapid design. Clearly that's something he wants to follow. He said, "Ford Blue team will wake up every day obsessed about how to deliver a more vibrant and profitable internal combustion engine business. Blue will be a profit and cash engine for the entire enterprise." I have to wonder though, how will these people here feel about the fact that they're making all the cash and being very driven to make this cash in order to fund the future of the company? Will that mean they'll feel as though they're working hard even though they're going to lose their jobs eventually? That to me will be difficult to balance. Apparently this is why he didn't spin out the electric vehicle business, because he wants the chemistry created by the best of the old and the new to create a stronger and more resilient Ford. "We're targeting annual production of more than 2 million EVs by 2026, he said. The company sold 27,000 Ford Mustang Mach-E's in 2021. And soon we'll start delivering the Lightning, which had reservations capped in December at 200,000. Ford is planning to invest $5 billion in electric vehicles just this year and more than $50 billion in EVs and new technology by 2026. That's a lot of money they need to take away from the internal combustion engine business and put into EVs. In addition to Ford Blue and Ford Model E, the company also created Ford Pro, run by Ted Canis, that specializes in catering to business customers. Company executives emphasized the importance of Ford Blue cost savings and revenue. "Simply put, nothing is off the table," Cal Hotra reiterated. "All parts of the income statement and a major attack on our structural costs." So what's being targeted to save Ford $3 billion? Complexity costs. Perhaps Ford doesn't need to build so many different versions of its vehicles. Oh, I've been saying that about Ford and every other legacy automaker for a long time now. So they're going to simplify the number of vehicles they make or reduce it to save costs. Wow, brilliant. Do what Tesla's doing. Great idea. Warranty costs. Ford continues to spend more than its competitors because of ongoing quality issues that must be addressed. The company said, not me, that's the company saying that. Advertising. The budget on advertising is going to shrink. As far as Ford is concerned at this point, less is more. Tesla builds 4 vehicles and Wall Street rewarded the Silicon Valley company with a $1 trillion valuation in 2021. But to be fair, they only mass manufacture 2 vehicles. And this year, they'll probably produce about 1.5 million of only 2 vehicles. So do you really need 70 models to produce, say, 4 million cars? I don't think so. I think it surprised us that the Ford F-150 Lightning generated 200,000 pre-orders on only one body style configuration, said Lisa Drake, Vice President of EV Industrialization for Ford E. Clearly they hadn't been paying attention to Tesla at all. Tesla had 1.3 million pre-orders. By the time Ford actually released this vehicle for pre-order registrations, Tesla already had 800,000 pre-orders for one single vehicle. So 200,000, I don't know why Ford is surprised on those numbers, honestly. If you do the math on a paper napkin, estimating conservative $50,000 per F-150 Lightning, that pencils out to $10 billion worth of sales. Even Ford car dealers will be asked to choose whether they want to sell electric cars or gas-powered vehicles, and specialized Ford executives said. Ford are probably planning, therefore, on getting rid of quite a few dealers. Recruiting the best people in the country will require a different environment and a different way of thinking, Farley said. Flexibility and remote work is essential in the competitive market now, he said. We're really trying for a distinct culture in Model E, a culture that cultivates a different kind of work that attracts the best technical talent. Doug Field, an engineer who helped develop the Tesla Model 3 and moved to Ford from a top role at Apple, said Wednesday to reporters. Ford is directly competing with electric vehicle and tech startups that have created a work environment that welcomes people who never dreamed of joining the auto industry, he said. We have to create that place as well. It's going to be a culture of rejecting constraints, never inheriting them from the past, said Field, Chief EV and Digital Systems Officer for Ford Model E, and also lead development of software and embedded systems for all of Ford. We want the best people. I don't care if they come to work in bunny slippers. Now, Ford has apparently a destroy Tesla plan. Garrett Nelson, vice president at CFRA Research, wrote in an investor note Wednesday that he moved Ford from a buy to a strong buy recommendation. Jim Cramer did the same thing. Ford quietly became the second best-selling US EV manufacturer in 2021 thanks to the Mustang Mach-E, and its EV sales are poised to accelerate further in the coming months with first deliveries of the F-150 Lightning, Nelson wrote, one of the industry's most compelling opportunities in our view. And I actually agree. I've recently bought Ford stock as well. Jim Cramer told his CNBC Investing Club that Ford's strategy was a destroy Tesla plan. Will they destroy Tesla? No, absolutely not. That's just ridiculous. But he's obviously trying to motivate the company. Now, employee morale. How is it going at Ford? Well, there's a lot being said, but I think it's probably not that good. There's probably a lot of uncertainty at the moment, and uncertainty breeds fear. Fear doesn't generally breed happiness when it comes to work-life satisfaction. Farley says people should stay calm. He dismisses this anxiety associated with old versus new in the auto industry. And he said, it's kind of a transition that has been going on for many years, and it will go on, Farley told the Free Press. Projecting the future no one knows is something Jim is really good at, said Markups, who worked at Uber prior to Ford. Farley is tireless and he drives others no harder than he drives himself, employees say. And that's one thing to look to. In product planning, you have to make bets that aren't clear to the competition and sometimes not even to the customers, Farley said. Back in 2019, you have to make choices to go to parts of the market that either don't exist or are very underdeveloped. At the time, there may not be evidence of why to do that, but those who do get handsomely rewarded.